can't even do it. What's up guys, Dan here, Coalcracker. It's so hysterical to me when we talk about tourniquets. Everybody, every trainer I've ever worked with, even myself, when we talk about tourniquets, we're like, don't put it on your neck. But that's where we're at. That's literally where we're at. We have to tell people that. So when it comes to using this or using this, you need to carry this. Now I know not the most bushcrafty or survival-y kind of video, but it's important because it's one of these skill sets that you need and you should have, and that is how to properly use a tourniquet. Now there are a lot of good trainers out there, medical professionals that can give you tons of detailed information on this, along with courses like Stop the Bleed that can go into trauma, bleeding, and how to stop all that. I highly recommend take one of those courses. And today's video is really not so much about how to actually apply the tourniquet, but it's tips, tricks, and just things to think about to make it more efficient when using it. Okay, so first is the tourniquet itself. There are many styles out there, and guess what? You as the consumer, you get to pick what you like best. But here is what I'm gonna say. I'm a cat tourniquet guy. In the past, I've used different ones, but over the last few years, going to different trainings and utilizing them and practicing a lot with them, the cat tourniquets have really proven to me to be very efficient and very fast. So what I challenge you with, if you are not a cat tourniquet person, listen, there are other good ones out there. I'm not saying other ones are not, but don't just fall for something gimmicky that is just new and like the trend of what is going on. Get one and practice putting it on. Practice training with it and see what you think. And if it seems like there are like shortcomings to it, then try a different brand and just work your way through until you get something that you're super comfortable with. So that is rule number one, is to find a brand that you are comfortable with and that you can efficiently use, which leads into number two. You need to have one of these things readily available when you're using all of these tools, be it just in your backyard or in a deep wilderness. One mistake that I have made, and I know that I'm sure some of you have also made, is that you put your tourniquet inside a medical kit or a trauma kit, and that trauma kit inside a backpack, and then you go about your day and you're using these things. Your backpack is set off to the side, and if something were to happen, it could literally be life-threatening if you make a wrong cut onto your body and hit one of your limbs the wrong way. So it's important that we can access these quickly. In the scenario I just gave, now I have to not only retrieve my backpack, I have to open my backpack, dig through my backpack, retrieve my medical kit, open my medical kit, pull out my tourniquet, hopefully it's prepped, which we're going to talk about here in a minute, and then actually put it on. Now that sounds like a lot, and it is, because we only have a short window if something were to happen, and we need to be fast and we need to be efficient with this. So as a good rule of thumb, your tourniquet should be in a location that if something happens, you can have it on your body, and it should be fully tightened within a minute 30 seconds. That's just like a good training rule, because after that time frame, if the cut is bad enough and you bleed enough, you're gonna pass out from loss of blood. So it's important when you're training that you actually hit that timer, deploy your tourniquet from its location, put it on, and make sure that you're beating that time and time and time and time again and again and again and again and again. Important. So that's rule number two. You want to make sure that this thing is accessible. Some things that you can do if you're thinking like, well, where am I going to put it? So number one, you can use rubber bands. They're a great tool. You can just rubber band this onto your backpack, on the hip belt. You can also slide one of these just down into the water pockets on the side of your backpack. All of that stuff works really, really well. I did a video recently on putting a tourniquet just on your axe. So when you're going to use your axe, you actually take it off and you set it off to the side right where you're working. Work with your axe, and it is right there ready to go. Now right there ready to go doesn't mean that it's ready to go. You got to prep it, and that is rule number 4. Make sure that this thing is prepped. Whoa. Before we go any further, I want to talk about today's sponsor, and that is RTS Tactical. RTS Tactical has a wide variety of safety tools from mini IFAKs to their full IFAKs to body armor to ballistic plates. So if you're in the market and you're looking for safety equipment such as an IFAK, RTS Tactical is going to be your place to go. I showed these kits in other videos, but what's nice about these, which you're going to see in this in the video that we're currently watching, is that your tourniquets are accessible very easily just with some elastic, and then the Trama Kit itself comes out of an elastic package, so you can mount this on your backpack or inside your vehicle or on your tactical equipment. You can pull your kit out and then you can easily deploy it just by pulling the center, and all of the equipment that you are going to need in order to stop traumatic bleeding is inside of these kits. And again, they have two different level kits that you can choose from. The larger kit just has a little bit more stuff in it, but you can see all that on the website. I'll put the link down in the description, so check them out if you're in the market for this equipment, rtstactical.com. So how do we prep a tourniquet properly? So we're going to be working with the cat tourniquet here because that's what I have and that's what we're working with. So with the cat tourniquet, okay, you can see that it's Velcro closure on it. That's going to be your initial tightening mechanism. It Velcro shut, and then you have the windlass system on it, okay? So what we first want to do is we want to open it up, and we don't want to have Velcro on Velcro. If you look at this, which I pre-prepped this one, nothing happens with this. All the Velcro is tight, and it seems like not a big issue. You're like, well, Dan, just pull the Velcro apart. Can you do that one-handed, or do you have to now use your mouth? What if it's dark? So we want to prep this so when we deploy this tourniquet, it falls into the proper position for us. So how do we do that? So first, what we're going to do is we're going to take our foot, and in this case, I'm not going to put my foot up on the table. I'm just going to put my shoe up on the table, and I am going to size this. So you see, I opened my tourniquet completely. I didn't take it apart though. I still have that big loop, and I'm going to make sure that I could fit it over my shoe very easily, okay? So when I do that, I can size it now. Like that works really well for me, that size, okay? If it fits over my shoe and over my heel, it's gonna fit over my leg, it's gonna fit up my arm, and we are going to be good. Now you gotta hold this position for a second because this tag end that's left actually gets folded back on itself. And what we're gonna do is create a handle, and this is our tourniquet handle. This is gonna help with, number one, pulling the tourniquet and creating tightness in it, but it's also gonna help with prepping further. So as you see with this one, it doesn't fall apart when I just grab it, okay? So the reason for that is the Velcro's binding on itself. So we're gonna use this handle now, okay, as a spacer in the Velcro. So in this case, we're gonna put the tourniquet flat, okay? Again, it opens up. Velcro is on the top, Velcro is on the bottom. Now I'm going to use my handle, and I'm going to fold my handle onto the Velcro. So that's creating a smooth side against the Velcro. It doesn't stick. Just like this, and then I'm going to bring the other end of Velcro up, and now my tourniquet is prepped. So what does that mean? So what that means is when I take my tourniquet and I deploy it and I do this, look at that, it's opened right up. I'm not battling Velcro, and that is very important with these cat tourniquets. Now last but not least, this is going to require a little bit of training, okay, and a little bit of thought, because under pressure with blood and you starting to maybe lose consciousness, you need to make sure that you can get this thing tight in two different stages. Stage one is going to be your pulling effect and the tightening of the band itself, and the second stage is going to be with the windlass. When we do this, we want to try our very best when we put our tourniquet on, be it our legs or our arms, that when we begin to pull this, we're pulling across our body. Going across our body. Now, why is that? Well, look at my arm. If I pull this way, I can pull this arm, I can pull this thing forever. I can pull this back, and I can pull and pull and pull and pull, and I still have more to go to pull this tourniquet. If I do it the other way, I can only put my arm so far. So check this out. We put this in like this. We get it high and tight, rule of tourniquets. I do this. That's as far as my arm goes. That's it. I can't make this arm go any further. Right? So now what you're doing is you're trying to like figure out, see, I have to do all this nonsense. Why? We have this nice handle on here. We put this on so it pulls across our body. get this thing set, and I can just pull and pull. I can tuck back under and pull, and I already have that thing so tight, okay, that I'm starting to already feel a little bit of tingling in my fingers. My windlass is accessible for me, and now I can start turning and tightening portion 2, creating that shutoff valve to stop the blood flow, and I will be good. And then ultimately make sure that with these tourniquets, after you tighten that windlass, you're using that small Velcro strap to keep that in place in case it pops. Doesn't let the windlass loose. Very important. But hey, great tips for all of you who carry tourniquets. I highly recommend carry these things with you, not only in wilderness settings, but also in your vehicles. Have them around your homes. They are life-saving devices. They are simple to use, and when you need it, you gotta have it. All right, so that's today's video. A couple tips on tourniquet use. Like I said, get professional training with this. You will have a good time. 1 or 2 day class is more than enough to cover everything. Also, check out our sponsor, RTS Tactical, for today's video at rtstactical.com. Lots of good stuff over there. And until next video, stay safe, stay in the woods.